police sergeant cuts.
Thank you.
2894.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jenny. This is about whether it's acceptable to reduce the number of sergeants in the Met. And my view here is that there should be flexibility. I see no particular reason why there should be one ratio in the Met that doesn't obtain, in other places. There is no proposal that a currently serving sergeant would lose his or her job. Obviously not. But what you could imagine is that the ratios might change and the ratio of supervising sergeants might change.
I was quite curious about what you've just said about borough commanders, because you've said in the past, you've laid down, if you like, you've pledged that there will be 32,000 police officers for the next few years. And to do that in face of the budget cuts, it's going to take quite a lot of what you describe as flexibility. And I'm curious about what other sort of red lines you've drawn in your guidance for people. You've said now 32,000 police officers, and you said no reduction in borough commanders. Are there any other sort of lines that the police mustn't cross, or are you?
Well, no. I want to give as much freedom as I possibly can to the police to fight crime, and that's what they want to do.
Have you seen plans that are circulating at the moment that are suggesting the very thing that I've described, i.e. getting rid of 1,000 police sergeants and bringing in cheaper police constables so that they can keep your overall figure of 32,000?
I haven't seen such plans, no.
When do you expect to see those plans? When do you expect to see plans for the proposed cuts in the budget? You're describing plans I haven't seen and then asking me when I'm going to see them. I can't answer that. What I can say is that we're working hard now to keep numbers high and to make the necessary savings. But what I'm saying is, to keep numbers high when the budget cuts are so severe, it's going to need a lot of manipulation of the officers themselves. You're going to have to take out a lot of expensive officers and put in either cheaper police officers or more staff. What's your feeling about this? If you have
my feeling very simple: give maximum possible flexibility as well. As I said many times in the argument about safer neighbourhood teams, keep them flexible, but let's have them, and let's have as many officers as possible out there on the front line. That's what Bernard Hogan-Howe wants as well. That's why he's doing what he's doing with the 2,000 extra officers for safer neighbourhood teams.
But I think I've told you before that in order to keep these numbers high, the police force, the Met, has already got rid of a lot of police staff who do a lot of the backroom jobs. And at the moment, 6,000 police officers, fully warranted, fully fit, are doing backroom jobs because you've got rid of staff that are cheaper to get rid of, just so that your overall figure of 32,000 can be maintained. Why do you think that pledge is, apart from the fact that all pledges are worth keeping, why do you think that pledge is worth keeping?
Okay, very simple. It's not. I don't make a fetish of the number itself. The question is where they are and what they're doing. And there are, I think, about 52,000, maybe more, staff in the police service altogether. We want as many of them as possible to be on the front line, bringing crime down, and that's the objective. And getting an extra 2,000 of them into safer neighbourhood teams seems to me to be a very good thing. And to risk of repeating this point, so I'm blue in the face, what really matters is your ability to fight crime.
Well, at the risk of repeating myself until I'm blue in the face, the fact is you can't maintain this number of police officers and have them all out on the front line because there are backroom jobs to be done. But unfortunately, the Met's cleared out a lot of the police staff. What you've done by setting a 32,000 limit is actually you're making it more difficult for the Met to get police officers out on the streets where they should be fighting crime.
Well, that's not what the figures show. The figures
I'm
show,
afraid it is.
the figures
and
show
they're
there's been a
figures,
massive increase
Mr. Mayor.
in the number of patrols and a fall in crime, and that's what matters to me.
Mr. Mayor, you seem to be taking no responsibility for the fact that the Met has got some really, really difficult judgment calls to make on this, and all you're doing is saying to them, go ahead, be flexible, it's fine, just keep 32,000 officers, just be flexible. That's what you're doing to isn't it?
No, on the contrary, we're working very hard to make sure that they have the funding that they need to get the extra officers out. Then some of you may remember that we got some extra funding last year for the specific purpose of dealing with the extra challenges that London faces. It was then proposed to me that this was politically driven, that I should hand this money back. I think that was complete nonsense. It's money that London needs and money that policing in London can well use. So we're working with government to get the police properly funded, but we're also there to help them to make the adjustments that they want to make. And so when, for instance, on sergeants, or on the configuration of safer neighbourhood teams, when they want to make changes that they think are going to be efficient, in the sense, you might have a safer neighbourhood team in one ward that could be well managed by a sergeant in another ward. And when they want to do that, it's my job to help them and to say, yes, come on, let's go for that approach. Rather, and it's exactly like the argument that we've had about the NHS, rather than endlessly fighting any change at all. In tough financial times, you've got to be willing to listen to the advice of professionals who are motivated by a desire to improve the quality of life of everybody in London.
Okay, thank you very much. The next